Are you ready to transform your life and elevate your energy to a whole new level? Imagine waking up every day feeling lighter, more joyful, and deeply connected to your true self. Today, I am sharing 7 powerful secrets that will instantly raise your vibration and help you live a life full of love and light. Let's get started. Welcome. I'm Lisa Jones, and I'm going to share with you 7 secret ways to raise your vibration instantly. Secret number 1 is to stop watching the news. I disconnected from the news 7 years ago when I moved to Maui, and it was the best thing I ever did. And don't worry, you will hear what you need to hear by friends and families and listening to the news. I know a lot of people think that by not watching the news, you're just sticking your head in the sand. But truly, all you can do is take care of your own vibration, turn off those news stations. It's a much more grounded and easy life when you're not watching the news. Secret number 2, spend more time in nature. Again, another fabulous experience of moving to Hawaii is that I get to live in this beautiful place. This is literally just outside my cottage, and I get to spend the day sitting outside if I like, and I go down to the beach every morning to do my yoga and go for a swim. And there's also places to go hiking here. I love spending time in nature, and it's really interesting because when I was younger, I really didn't like it so much. I loved going to the mall, I loved hanging out with friends and doing things much more social interaction. But I found as that took away from me connecting with my own vibration and having a higher level of connection with spirit. So tip number 2 is spend more time in nature. Secret number 3, stop using fluoride toothpaste. What a weird thing to do. But I'm telling you, I have a great story about using fluoride toothpaste. Apparently, when you use fluoride toothpaste, it covers your pineal gland, which is really your connector to spirit. A couple years ago, I went to Egypt, and I had the most profound experience with the goddess Isis. In fact, before I even went to Egypt, I was doing a guided meditation, and all of a sudden she showed up in full glory. She had her outfit on and her staff and her ankh, and an ankh is actually, look, I've got the ring because I got this in Egypt. So anyway, she showed up in this guided meditation, and she said, "I am Isis, I am with you now." And I was so startled. I didn't know really who she was or what was happening. And then a couple days later, I was told about a trip to Egypt, and I just felt in my body I had to go. Fortunately, my son was able to join me, and we went to Egypt. It turns out we went to Isis's temple while we were in Egypt. And then I saw this ankh ring in a jewelry store, immediately had to have it. And then the interesting thing is once I got home, I was woken up by Isis, and she said, "Lisa, go to your Hay House app, search for Isis, and listen to the chapter about me in this book." Sure enough, there was a book on the Hay House app called You Are the Goddess, and there was a chapter specifically about Isis. When I started listening to it, it basically said, "I am Isis. You have been to my temple in Egypt, and you have been gifted a golden ankh. You are now my initiate." I was like, what the heck? The next thing I know, I started seeing dead people. I don't know if you're aware, but Goddess Isis is the ruler of the underworld. And so she is all about death and dying, which is a big part of my life. And so it was so exciting to all of a sudden start seeing all these spirits around and dead people. I don't normally see them that way. However, I had a problem. I was doing Invisalign, and so I switched from my non-fluoride toothpaste to fluoride toothpaste. And all of a sudden, all of those experiences stopped happening. And I didn't realize this until 2 years later. I didn't, like I needed the fluoride. I had a wake up moment. That was what had stopped these connections from happening. So please find really good toothpaste that has no fluoride in it if you want to open your pineal gland and raise your vibe. Secret number 4, eat a clean diet. Remember, food is medicine. Every single thing that you put into your body is helping it or hurting it. And so when you think about what you're putting into your body and you want to have a higher vibration to be able to connect with spirit, It's a great idea to put in clean, nutritious, yummy food that is of this earth. Recently, I've been really leaning into just having one ingredient foods, and it's made a huge difference in my life. I feel so clean, so clear, and it's crazy how when you don't have all those processed sugars and carbs in your diet, I just don't feel as sluggish. I used to have a lot of like bloating and just feeling a real denseness and heaviness. And from my understanding, a lot of the food that we eat isn't even nutritious for our body. I mean, it's made up of all these chemicals and all these things that aren't even helping our body be more in tune with what we're here to do. So if you want to raise that vibration, start eating cleanly. And you can start by just maybe taking out soda if you're a big soda drinker, or stop eating those Krispy Kreme donuts. That was one of the last things I gave up. We have a Krispy Kreme here on Maui, and so that was always my treat. If I went into town, I would always get one donut and then just eat it very slowly on the way home. But inevitably I'd get home and then I would just feel either like a sugar rush with a headache, or just overall kind of a malaise after eating that. It's so yummy, it tastes so good, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it was never worth it. So I highly encourage you to clean up your diet and you will have a higher vibe immediately. Secret number 5, start spending more time in creative pursuits. Creativity is truly the lifeblood of your spirit. We are here to create and to bring new things into this world. So it's a wonderful idea to find ways that you can bring your gifts into this world and share them with everybody. Maybe you enjoy writing or painting or playing music. Do you remember those times in your life where you start doing things and you lose track of time? And it's just such a wonderful way to be fully with your spirit. I wanted to share another story about my creativity. I recently went through a grief workshop, which was fabulous. It was really diving deep into grief. It was through hospice, where I'm a volunteer. And we were able to work on grief that we had unprocessed. And so I was adopted as a baby. And I didn't realize, here I am, at this age, that I still have a lot of unprocessed feelings about being adopted. And so when I was working on my project, I just felt this urge to get out paints and paper, and I started drawing some really fascinating expressions of my feelings that came out through these paintings. They were very rudimentary. They were basically stick figures, but I was able to express words and feelings through these paintings that I had never experienced before. And it was so helpful for me to be able to process these emotions that I have never been in touch with before. And so I highly encourage you to get in touch, especially if you're working through something that's difficult. If you want to raise your vibe, go ahead and lean into your creative nature and allow it to come through. It can be very cathartic to spend time working on your creativity. Now, this might be a tough one for people. This is about giving up alcohol. This was a tough one for me. I didn't even know that it was something I wanted or felt like it would be helpful in my life. I started drinking when I was 14. My dad actually ordered me a gin fizz or something at a restaurant with some friends, and I just was like, okay, I guess I'm starting to drink. And so it just became part of my everyday life. And I literally thought that the only people that didn't drink were alcoholics, because it was such a socialized part of my life that I didn't even realize that you could not drink and not be an alcoholic. And so interestingly, I had gone to a John of God event in New York, and I went in to get healing, and then on the way out they gave you a slip of paper that said, in order for this healing to work, you have to give up certain things for the next 40 days. So one of them was hot chili peppers, the second was sex, and the third was giving up alcohol. And I just thought, are you kidding me? I wouldn't have gone for this healing if I'd known I had to give up these things. And so because I was so dedicated to wanting this healing to work, I went ahead and followed these directions. And interestingly, the most difficult thing was giving up the hot chili peppers. I didn't realize how often I had chili peppers in my food. So The thing, though, that was the biggest awakening was by not having alcohol for 40 days. It cleared out my system. I felt great. I didn't ever have a headache the next day. And it turns out, I mean, I guess maybe everyone's allergic to alcohol, but I truly feel like I am allergic to alcohol. I could have a half a glass of wine and wake up with a terrible headache the next day. So it just wasn't worth it. So then over the next couple of years, I would just take a month off every now and then and didn't really want to go all in until I moved to Maui. And again, I just started with a 30-day, and then I joined 1 year no beer, which was absolutely amazing. And that kind of helped me do a 90-day challenge. And after the 90-day challenge, it was a 365 challenge. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go 365 without alcohol. And it was wonderful. I do have to say the first part was difficult because I was worried about what other people would think of me. And so once I gave that up, it got super easy. But at first it was all about, oh dear, what are people going to think? But that was just my own insecurity around it. Now I don't care at all. People can drink if they want, but I choose not to. And it has absolutely elevated my vibration extensively. It's been the best thing I've ever done to help raise my vibe. The last secret, number 7, is to follow your joy. Every morning, wake up with gratitude and ask for the most joyous next thing that you could do in your life. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about following your joy and your bliss, because that is truly what we are here to do. The Dalai Lama even says that we are here to be happy. And I know this, again, sounds probably very Pollyannish, as I've said in some other videos. However, the more that you can lean into gratitude and love and joy, the better and better and better your life becomes. It's all energy. And so whatever you're vibrating at, you're going to connect in. So it's best to let go of things that aren't helping you at that higher vibration and just leaning into the things that do. I hope these 7 tips have helped you come to some new ideas about raising your vibration, and let me know what you've done to raise your vibration. I'd love to have a conversation about this because I'm always on the lookout for new and different ways of raising my vibration. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Aloha.